Hi friends, my name is Megan and welcome to episode 126 of a Naughty Mess Knitting podcast. It is January 1st. I am filming during Theo's nap and we have lots of stuff to talk about. So, first of all, hi. For anyone who's new here, my name is Megan and I am a mostly knitter, sometimes crocheter and cross stitcher and other crafter. I do spin yarn also, and I am based out of the Pacific Northwest. I live here just north of Seattle with my husband Mike, our daughter Theo, our dog Winter, my mom Cindy, and currently my in-laws and their dog Zoe. And yeah, we have a great time over here in a very full house. But I am going to review normal podcast things. So if you're new, we typically do what I'm wearing. Sometimes that's a finished object. This week it is other finished objects, of which I have 3 right here. So that's 4 this week. That's very exciting. Projects that are whips, cast-ons, acquisitions, books. Yeah, and other yarny things. Actually, this week we have a lot of like regular things to go through, but I'm going to reserve some of like the comments on these guys until I wear them in the next couple of episodes. But I would like today to do superlatives and goals from review from 2025 and new ones for 2026. As this is the first, then I will put out my tier ranking video probably on like the 5th or 6th. And then I'll film again on the 8th and we'll do a regular like recap of the week, but also stats and my flat lay. As you can see, I'm mid flat lay. I have like my DK weight yarn is just in bags around my office right now because I only took a couple pictures while Theo was napping this week. And I decided to do it day over day. And then, you know what? I ran out of steam and that's okay. And I'm going to finish tomorrow probably. So that's what we're doing. Buckle up, everybody. Let's go. First of all, what I'm wearing today, I'm very excited to talk to you about, is my Mila Cardigan, which is a pattern by Sari Nordlund. This is a very cool pattern that is reversible. I am wearing it on the wrong side right now, and I'm going to intentionally, because I took pictures and I did right side and then wrong side, and then I left this on to talk about. So I'm going to stand up and we can talk through some stuff. Then we'll talk about yarn usage, dimensions, ratings, and all that fun stuff. I'm going to leave it here because the cuffs, the sleeves are quite long, so you can kind of see them on me. Wow, cute, huh? Okay, this is the wrong side, and let's look at the wrong side details. So this pattern has that, what did I call it? It's like a snaky wavy thing. So it's just like waves down. There is no crossover in the middle on any of the cable lines, just move back and forth like this. I do not know how she figured out that there's a reversible cable pattern. I'm sure there's other ones, but like this is so cool. And so you can kind of see it, if it'll focus. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's really fun. The body did open up a little bit more than sleeves, but you can see now that it's done. Let me squeeze over here. Here's my meetup line. Okay, so you can see the back. There is like a selvage stitch which you pick up, and then there is a line where you pick up, because this is the inside of how you pick up the work. You do pick up everything kind of on the other side, right? So I think this is probably how, if you turn stockinette stuff over, it probably looks similar to this, but she was intentional about how she did the selvage edge in the knitting. It's knit and then purled so that there's a lot of stitches in here, because that's, you need to pick up quite a lot of stitches. Then the button band. Oh, let me scoot closer again. I actually think the pickup on the button band looks pretty good. There's one wonky area on like the first side, probably down here at the bottom, where I feel like it snakes a little bit. It actually doesn't. It looks okay after blocking. It looks good. Let's see. Yeah. I don't know if you can tell, but there is quite a difference in here. I have 2 tones. Under this light, it actually looks pretty fine. And actually I took pictures outside and I didn't think it was that noticeable. But when it was just like laying flat, it's like distinctly lighter right here, which was that ball of yarn I joined from this sleeve, which you can see is lighter starting like here, which is where I ran out of a ball of yarn. I don't care. Mostly I'm wearing this for work, and at work I'm on a computer screen. If you can't see it right now that well, you can't see it on my Zoom calls. So I think it's good. It is quite cropped on me. You can see, here's what it looks like from the back. And I did make some mods in the button band, so we'll talk about this. But let me flip it inside out so you can admire that side. That's probably how I'll wear it the rest of the episode. Before I button up, let's look at the buttons. I did get some snap buttons, but I actually decided to get some magnetic ones. So there's a really flat piece here. Then there's a more raised side. I did it in the way that like the right side, which is the side I figured I'd wear it on more often, closes over, which is where you normally put the button holes on your right side, right? So that it lays over top like this. But as you saw, it just lays the opposite way for the other side, which is fine. They meet up pretty well at the bottom. Yeah. And I think it's really cute. Okay, so here's the pattern on this side, which I think did open up and looks a little bit nicer in the body now when it's blocked. This yarn kind of looks shiny under this light. It's not really a shiny yarn. But yeah. There it is. What do we think? I like it. Okay, here's the cuffs are like pretty wide. I mean, as in there's a lot of stitches still left at the cuff. And so like they don't cinch in at all in the ribbing, but I also I didn't block them out at all. So they're just like kind of a tight rib, which I like. And the body also, like, I don't think I really, even though I like stretch the body out a little bit, like the ribbing still looks pretty tight and nice. One mod I did make for the neckband is I borrowed some shaping. You can see it's like right here at the top. You can kind of see it. It's like right there. I did some short rows, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So here it is. Now I shall sit down. I think on this side you can see that line a little bit more. Again, not worried about it. Okay, so short rows. So I took the shaping from the Calm Down cardigan. Kind of. I also looked, because I like how that button band lays. I looked through like her pickup rate and some notes that she has in it. And I decided when I don't think I really talked about this last week, which I was halfway done the button band last week, is that I did not pick up. So like, Sari just says, pick up every stitch and knit a button band. And she uses the 4mm needles, which is what the entire sweater is knit with, other than the cuffs, which is a 3.5. And the hem. I finished the hem and then I kept the 3.5 on the needle, and I picked everything up. Sometimes I just pick up with a smaller needle and then I'll knit with like a 3.75, like just one needle size up. But I actually just decided to do the whole thing with a 3.5. I like was evaluating. I thought it was like pretty good after a few inches. So I did a 4 out of 5-ish pickup rate. So my thought, 2 reasons is, one, I knit double knitting rather, it's not like loose, but it just always, I mean, it just is. It's a little bit like fuller of a stitch. Second is that I just was looking at Sari's and I saw some comments and some other things, like her button band like flares out at the bottom, because I think she just picked up too many stitches, or she should have gone down a needle size. Well, I was like, well, I'm going to just do both of those things, which could have been an overcorrection, but was actually fine. So in the Calm Down cardigan, there is like shaping at the V and shaping at the neckline, and there's like, because there's like a little flare at the bottom. I did not do the middle one because I wasn't sure where I was going to put the buttons. There's no buttonholes, you know, like I didn't have to figure that out. So I just kept it fully straight. And then at the back of the neck, I picked up a couple extra stitches along the back to like just widen it a little bit so it sits a little bit nicer along my shoulders, and right at the crest of your neck here, or like the tips of where your pickup is. And this is a pretty small neckband in the back too. I just went and I picked up like because that's where I still had the markers in from like when you're doing the pickup in the shoulder line. I just kept those in so that I could use those. So between those two, I picked up a couple extra stitches. And then once I got to each of them, I used the directions for the short rows, which is just like, you do 2 sets. You do 1 and then 2 to create just like a little extra room. It's like the other way. You create room like this way, like a little wedge, so that you have more space at your shoulder. I think it makes cardigans fit a little bit nicer, and something that I would just adopt into patterns when they don't have any shaping, because you do shaping for the rest of it. You don't want the neckband to just like pull it up, which it will do. So that's like the only real mod I did, I think. Otherwise, my gauge must have been off for rows, because I did not use her pickup rate of like 4 out of 5 for the sleeves. I picked up like nearly every stitch just to get to the like number that she put for this size, which was the right size. And it is like 15 inches. It's a good size on my arm. And then I think because my row gauge was off, I didn't get quite to the right stitch count for the for the cuff, but I was off by maybe 2. So like I just missed 1 decrease. It wasn't a big deal either way. I was like, it's not going to change the shape much. So I just left it. Let's talk about sizing. So I picked a size 5, which should have been a 49.25-inch bust. Recommended ease is 4.25 to 6 inches, and I am just, it's about what, like the lower end of that. I did measure this just now, and it's a 50-inch bust when it's buttoned. I never know, like for cardigans, I assume it's when it's buttoned, but you never know. The total length from shoulder is 21 inches to the hem, and the length from underarm is 9.5. It's quite cropped. You saw that it was quite cropped on me, but it's not like bad. Like, it's fine. I wear mostly high-waisted pants, and it hits kind of like just below my natural waist. Like, it is below my belly button, but not by a ton. Maybe like an inch or half an inch. And then the bicep was 15, cuff is 9 inches, so quite wide still. And then the sleeve length is 17 inches. And the depth of the V-neck, this is like a skinny V-neck. I put 11.5, and that's what it measured to, but like, this doesn't feel very deep to me. And that could have just been like also how it was laying, like with when it's flat, like the top of the button band down, which I think that's not exactly like how deep it really feels. Whatever, it's fine. I like it. I do overall really like it, even with like kind of color inconsistencies. It's not gonna bug me. I think, like, you know, if you put your arm across, like, I don't think it looks that different. It's just like right at the line, you can kind of see it. And at the waist too, it's sort of like, that's like kind of in the shadow of my body, that like, hopefully it just won't be that noticeable. I do think that there's a little bit, like, you put a lot of work into it. Obviously you want your yarn to just be all the same color, but I did not buy this as a sweater quantity. I went to the pop-up, they just grabbed me some skeins. It was like also at the EKF pop-up at La Mercerie every year. You don't get to pick the skeins, they just give them to you. I was the first in line. I probably could have asked them to like really color match, but like, it's also dependent on the light that you're in. I could not tell at all that these were even slightly different from each other until not even when I wound them into balls. Like, I did not tell until it was knit up, and then I was like, well, this is what we're doing. Also, I was very close to running out of yarn, so I used 6.6 skeins. I think I bought 6 skeins and had a little bit of overage on all of them. These must have just had like a little bit more than 10% overage, because I think I only bought 6 skeins, and it was like 6.8 was the grams I had, and I used 6.6. So I had 20 grams left, just under, and that's fine. I could have done, I think I said like 2 or 3 more rows of pattern. Like, it wasn't a lot. Like, it took quite a lot of yarn to get around. So I was not gonna play that game. We're good. I'm glad I ended with a little bit extra. I will use that in something. But yeah, let's do some ratings. I've already rated this yarn. I've used it in other patterns. It does pill quite a lot. This is Earthy DK from Explore Nuts and Fibers. This is the color Squim, and I love the color. I think it's like so good. This is like the best neutral for me. Like this, like kind of like soft, cool toned thing is for my coloring is like the best thing. So I think this is like a really nice neutral cardigan to add to the wardrobe. I am glad it's reversible. I think I will take advantage of that. I just think it's like such a cool feature. It makes it feel fresh, like a new sweater too. And for cardigans, I a lot of times wear t-shirts under them, so like I don't think I'll have like the armpit problem, like of getting like really ratty in either of the armpits, hopefully. But it will pill, so I will have to just be diligent about depilling this as I wear it. But it's quite soft, very soft next to skin. I'm wearing a tank top today, and like all of this is like feeling totally fine. It doesn't feel at all itchy against any part of me. So I'm going to give this continue to give it a pass. I will say I have found other non-superwash yarns I like more than this one. I do love the color she does, and there's sometimes where I want to have that color in a non-superwash. So it's not like I'm not going to buy it again, but I do find like I like the Woolen Spun Corriedale from Little Fiber Co. better, just like as a quality of the yarn, right? Like that, that is though scratchier. So I think you have to take this, like, I don't mind that, and I would rather use that than like this if they had the equal colors, but they release different colorways. Like, this is all things you could choose, but you have to still like what's coming out, right? So the pattern though, I thought that the pattern was fine. I don't typically find too much issue with Sari's pattern, so I do feel like there are some things that are like, she doesn't necessarily, I think she just cranks out so many patterns that sometimes I feel like she's lacking a little bit in like the finesse or the details. Whereas I think there's some other designers that make, like Lily Kate, and she still makes a lot of patterns a year, but she does not make as many as Sari for sure. And she is so intentional about all these little things. So that's why I'm borrowing the Calm Down cardigan button band stuff, because it's just like, it really, really elevates like the wear and the fit of it. It's the little things. So I think the pattern was fine. I didn't feel like there were any issues with the chart. I don't think it was super clear on all the pickups, and she didn't have like really, really great pictures. And honestly, everybody, I like went through pictures on Ravelry of other people's projects, and almost nobody has any pictures of it on the reverse side, like any detail pictures. So I took a bunch of them today, and I'm going to flood my Ravelry page with a bunch of detail pages, because I was confused about like, I was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to pick it all up and see how it looks and like knit a little bit. But I mean, it ended up being fine. My intuition was correct, but like it did make me nervous. I was like, what is this line supposed to look like on the back? And she has like one picture in the pattern that like showed what it was supposed to look like. So I'm gonna put some more details when I do my notes and put those pictures up there. So, but like overall, I thought the pattern was fine. It was definitely one that I did not really like. It was a little bit of a struggle just because it was a lot of cabling, but I didn't really find any issues, like major issues with it, in fit or how it's written or anything. I do think the yardage estimate was not enough. I'll check and I'll make a note if that is true. I'm gonna have to check my gauge to see how far off I am. I mean, obviously if I got the right bust, and it's just like, it's more like the number of rows, but I think I had a struggle picking up enough sleeve stitches. So I feel like my row gauge is a little bit bigger than hers. But anyway, her recommended yarn is 1370 for this size, and I said I used 1623, so that's like 300 yards. I mean, it's a whole skein difference. So I'm glad I did the extra skein, because I probably could have like, just been okay with 5 skeins per her original yardage. I'd have been screwed. I definitely wouldn't have been able to make the sweater. So, and I don't think that that's an uncommon Sari issue. Generally, if I'm looking at her patterns, I'll just like add an extra skein if I'm close to the cusp. If it's like just the middle of another, I might be like, okay, I'll be fine. But like, things to note for you. So I think other than the yardage being not very correct, I think that the pattern was fine. Would I make it again? Probably not, because I just don't feel like I'm gonna need another one of like this all over cable things. Will I continue to make Sari patterns? Probably. There's just some really good cable things out there that she's created that I love the look of. Will I continue to tweak them? Probably. We'll see. I mean, it's one of my favorite things about knitting and making my own clothes is I can just change the things I like and don't like and whatever other things. So, and now that I'm feeling more comfortable with like knitting and mods, so that's fun. So that was quite a lot about this, but again, this is the last time I'll sort of feature and talk about it. So let's go on quickly to the other ones I finished, and we'll go in order. So the first one I finished this week, I did finish this one first, actually. I just like finished that button band right away, and then I was done. I washed it, I blocked it, took like a couple days to block, and I did pin this one on a mat for the first like 26 hours, and then I moved it to, because I washed this one, so I moved this one to just like my OXO drawing mat, but at that point it had like kind of stayed. It was just a little bit damp on the back. So that was my Mila, and that was like, yeah, I think Friday night last week. So this is my completed Kal Cardigan. It's so cute. I did take pictures, so I will pop a picture up here, and then we can just talk through all the details. But yes, it is done. Sleeves were done last week, I think, and because you do the button at the same time, so glorious. I really think I just had to finish the last buttonhole, or I had just finished that, and I just had to do like the hem. That was it. So, but I did do this one first, and then I did the hem. Oh, and I added pockets. I forgot that this one had pockets, and I was only going to do them if I had more yarn, and I was okay on yarn. Totally okay. I was a little nervous about not having enough mohair, but I was totally fine. Have still a little bit left over. And then this is a pickup pocket, so we'll talk about that in a second. But it's done. This is a pattern by Claire Jackson, who's perfectly knotted. This is a kind of older pattern for her, so it's not the same like structure, like written up the same way as her patterns now, which have like the boxes and the fill-in pieces. But all of her numbers are still color coded, which is way better. So I was like, just circle all the purple ones, or, you know, remember that I'm purple or whatever. But this is a pretty cool one. So it's a half brioche collar, and it's got a brioche shoulder line that just does sit like on top of your shoulder. So we'll see the fit and everything next week. I will say I don't love the sleeves that much, but we can kind of talk about that. It'll be fine and comfortable to wear. It's just like, if I was gonna like nitpick about things that I would want to look a little bit different, it would be the sleeves. Otherwise I think it's great. I mean, it's great anyway. I've liked the look of this. The mohair definitely is, this drops mohair is a little scratchier than other ones, and with washing did improve, so that's my only note. And I also thought, I used black drops before and it shed everywhere. I don't think this blue stuff shed as much as the black, so I don't know if it's just that one or whatever, but like it was shedding but not so crazy on me. I didn't have like a pile of blue fluff. This is like a nice like mid hip length. And okay, let's talk about the pockets really quick. So that's the only thing I really did, was I did do the button band or the hem with a 5mm. So I did not go down a needle size. It's like this entire thing is knit with 5s, which is actually kind of cool. I very rarely have patterns where the entire thing is in one needle size. But these are pick up and knit. So I just kind of like tried it on, not blocked. And so I was like, let me see where I think this will fit and where it'll hit to put the pockets. And they're not like super practical pockets. They're still kind of high. They're like sort of just like under your bust, you know, like kind of towards the front, but they're cute on, and it'll be nice to just like put a couple things in there. Cause like sometimes I'm just like, I want to put stitch markers in there, whatever, if I'm wearing it while I'm knitting. But, they do open, they blend really well. This yarn like is blending beautifully with this. They do have like the same ribbed thing, but basically I just put a pins in where I thought I wanted it, and I paid attention to her instructions, and also I like kind of measured there too. And then you just go across and you pick up however many stitches. I will put them on in here. I picked up 2 extra stitches for the pocket, but I knit them to the same height. And then it just tells you how many rows to knit. Then you do some ribbing. I also did that differently. It's like she did a bind off. I think she did a bind off in pattern, and I did a slightly different bind off, which is kind of like, it's sort of like that faux seam. So it like pulls up your knit stitches a little bit so that it just, I don't know, it just doesn't look as abrupt. Then you just sew down the ends. I did this all while we're watching Lord of the Rings. So I just did both of the pockets in one night. And then I washed it. And I washed it on Saturday, maybe. So yeah. Okay, so that's the Kal Cardigan. Quick reminder on size. This is a size 4. It's supposed to be 50 inches. Recommended ease is 20 to 30% of your full bust. And then again, 5mm needles. And I use back loop yarn, basic worsted, plus the drops mohair, kid silk, whatever it's called, in navy. And this color is called Tia Beanies. Doesn't matter to you because she's not dyeing yarn anymore. But yes, so here it is. It'll stay there. I'll wear it next week. We'll talk about it. I probably will wear it this order next week, and then the week after this one. But I like the fit of it, and overall, like, I feel pretty positive, so we can talk about that more. And then this one is nurtured by Andrea Mowry. Can you believe I finished this? I did finish it before the 31st because that was last night, and this is already washed and blocked. So I must have finished this on like Monday. I think I finished on Monday. I did like a lot of work. I only had, last time you saw this, I had sleeves done because you did those first. And then I did like, I had like this much body, like to here. So I just knit and knit and knit. And I got like a lot of body done, like all the way to joining in one day. It was a lot of knitting. I was just sitting around, home, not working, whatever. And I just got, and I kept going because I weighed the yarn. I figured out how much it took me to do, you guys, this math was hilarious. I figured out how much it would take me to do 2 rows, because you do 1 slip row and then 1 knit row. Then I did an average of like how much yarn it takes to knit a stitch. Because every row has a pair, I figured that was like the easiest way to like figure this out. Or how many stitches I can do per gram. That's what I figured out. Then I figured out the math. I did the math of how many stitches were in each row of the raglan. It didn't actually take me that long to do, but I just did like a quick chart, and I calculated how many stitches in total. So the neckline from joining to all the way through to collar, and I was guesstimating on how many collar rows. I think I put 6, which I think I might have done 8, so a little bit over. But I estimated it to be about 16,000 stitches, okay? Then I figured out how much yarn that would take approximately. Then I figured out how much body I could knit until I got in the 10% range of like, I'd give myself a little bit of a buffer. That's when I stopped, because this thing was supposed to be like 8 inches long. I knit more than 8 inches long. I'll do the measurements next when I wear it, so we can actually talk about, like, because I think that if I just tell you this is 10.5 inches or whatever it is, which I have it written in Ravelry, it'll be in there. But it's hard to tell until I'm actually wearing it. And you'll see it in the picture here, but like it's in space, you can see it better. But, and so I did add length quite a bit because this was very short. Like 8 inches is, yeah, I know she had it's cropped and that's what her version looks like. And that looks great on Andrea Mowry, but like heck to the no for me. So I needed a little bit extra, and I did. And I ended up with just 15 grams left. So I could have done like, really, I could have done like 4 extra body rows maybe, but like that would have been too close for me anyway. So I feel comfortable about what the choice I made, like when I stopped it. And also you have to stop like in the 4-row repeat, because it is, since it's like bricked, you know, they're alternating where the slips are. Because of that, you have to like end on the same place so that your sleeves, I don't know. I ended up like, she was like, take note of where your sleeves end, like if they end in a 4 or 2 of the pattern, and then do the same for your body. Because of the raglan line there, and because they don't decrease at the same rate, I think that's irrelevant personally. So I didn't do that. But I also changed my, part of why I did the math anyway, was because I changed my increase rate. So I have a size 6 sleeve and a size 4 body, and that ended up being the right mixture for me because her sleeves are too small. The sleeves are a little bit big. I probably could have gotten away with a 5, but I just added, and it's like 2 more stitches. It's not a lot more. So, I like that. The sleeves are quite long. Also not a thing you can really estimate. I would rather long than short though, so I'm totally fine with that. And then the raglan line, so I changed this because I figured out I wanted to get to a size, actually have, my neck is a size 3. So just, it's 1 extra decrease, to be between 3 and 4. And I just doing the math for it, I needed 1 extra body decrease so that my sleeves matched up to the right size. You do short rows then, and the short rows don't really matter for your size. It's just like the number of stitches passed. So I was fine doing all of those mods. I'll put them all in. We'll talk about them more in 2 weeks or whatever. I'm going to put the notes in now though, because I would totally forget. But yeah, this turned out great. So there is some short rows. You can see there's like a little bit of like the neckline is raised in the back just a tiny bit. And it does look, I mean, it's cute on, but it definitely looks like fish scales or armor, and like this is this color. But this is called Northwest from Sugar Plum Circus on their smooth sock, which is a 75-25 yarn. It's like a light fingering, and I held it triple. So there's not a lot of color pulling. There's this like little spot here where it's like very dark like line, but I don't really care, in the front. And overall, it's really cute. It's really cute on. It's like a nice color on me, and I'm very glad to get this, not just like out of stash, but I'm just glad to get it knit up. It was something that I had like dreamed about as soon as I got this yarn from Katie in my knit group. So those are my 3 sweaters that got finished before the end of the year. Now I have one other finished object here, which is the snake. Oh, getting its own cubby because I'm mid reorganization. The snake just, there's space. I'm gonna wait to talk about that until we get to regular books, and then we can discuss how great it is. Let's go through though what projects are coming with me into the new year. And I did cast on quite a few. So the one I'm not going to go through right now is Nana the Duck. She still hasn't gotten any attention. She's still wingless and just has some of her chest done and a head. And that is partly because that baby is possibly here right now. I'm not sure yet. But I am just not worried about it because it's a baby, and the baby is not going to play with it right now. And I didn't want to work on it. I wanted to get these sweaters done, and it's a kind of fiddly knit. Like it's on really small needles. And you have to pay attention, especially through the wings. And I want to do it like in a weekend where I don't have to like worry about anything else. And just like do it over like a Saturday night. So it's probably what I'll do. So let's go through my creativity shawl, which got quite a lot of work done. So this is a test knit for Tori Yu. You remember I did the creativity cowl earlier this year, or wow, in 2025. Maybe in like the spring or summer. I don't know. It was like not not a Kal time of year, but I made one for Theo. So I actually don't have any creativity things for myself, and I'm not going to keep this one either, so that's fine. This is going to come in a lot of sizes though, and I am past the halfway point. It's quite long. I think I did like 1 extra inch than per pattern. It was like 34 you should change over, but I wanted the midline to be just a tiny bit bigger, so I did 1 extra repeat. And so you can see this is my midpoint. I am now decreasing. It's nice because you increase on the same row that in the 6-stitch pattern you decrease the next time, so it's like super easy to remember what you're doing. And I'm getting through to some, now I'll go into some like very yellow, and then yellow and like a rusty color towards the end. So it'll be like this kind of darker side and a kind of lighter side, I think. But I am using Spin Cycle, and this color is called Last Call. And I'm using Pushkin, I think is the base from Farmer's Daughter Fiber. This didn't come with any tags and like a mystery box, so we're guesstimating or guessing, and I think it's Pumpkin Patch is the color, but I could be wrong. It is like a really nice, like warm caramel, like dark caramelly color. I actually really like it. It's not for me. I feel like it makes me look pale. I am not going to keep this, but I will gift it to somebody worthy in my life. And I'm enjoying making it. I don't think I don't have like a progress keeper, but I was like literally down here before, like way down here. So I did all of this in the last week. Most of it I did while at a impromptu knit night with Jess the other day. She's the friend that was available, and we met up at a cute little coffee shop and knit. And so yeah, it was great. That was the day after Christmas. I haven't really touched it since then, so I need to get back to it. This is due January 15th, so I have 2 weeks. I imagine I'll finish it this week. They don't have a new FO next week. That's my thought. I think I'll be able to do it. I like to get my notes in about a week early with Tori at the minimum, so I think I'll be fine. And that's like a 2-size shawl, comes in 4 weights. Fingering Sport DK worsted. That is a sport weight version, and I'm doing the smaller size. And so it's again, you just do to measurements. You're not doing, your gauge can just be a little bit your own, I guess is the answer. That will obviously affect your yardage. Like there is a gauge you're shooting for, but like because of the way that it's written, it's a lot more free, which I love. I think that's great for shawls because it makes it really easy to manipulate based on how much yarn you have, because you can just go to like the 48% of what you have, and then leave yourself like a little bit more than half so that you're not gonna run out of yarn. Okay, so that is the only other thing that was on my needles prior to like finishing a bunch of stuff. So I was supposed to do my Christmas Eve cast on, and I did not. Okay, because I was finishing my nephew's socks, but I did join that call with my friends and I just hung out. But I did end up casting them on during this in-between week, and I did not get very far. I like cast on, I did all of the toe in one evening, and then I put it down for a couple of days. And then today we had a play date with one of Theo's friends this morning. And so I actually did all the rest of this knitting just during the play date. But yeah, here it is. It's knitting up pretty nice. I did do yardage on this, and I have like I think I told you guys I have like 490 yards almost. And it's 4 ounces, so 115 yards or 115 grams. So, that's like a pretty mid-weight fingering. So I just decided to knit the size I thought that I would want to knit and see how it goes. This is a very forgiving pattern because it's all 2x2 rib, including on the foot. It fits fine. I put it over my foot. I have quite a wide foot. But yeah, I did like based on my shoe size is how I picked her pattern. So I think this is a women's medium, because my shoe size is somewhere between a 9.5 and a 10, which puts me between a medium and a large. And I just decided to size down because I like a little more negative ease. So I am just getting like close-ish to where I do start the Fleagle heel. I think like Fleagle heels, you go pretty far back before you start doing the increases because of the shaping of it. But anyway, so I have to do some measurements and figure it out. But I am like excited to get these done sometime in January. That'll be my goal. This will not be my single skein project for January, but it is one thing that I would like to finish in January. So I can take a picture with my friends. As you maybe will remember, this is yarn that I spun for myself from Yarn Jam's Very, Very Merry colorway. each year, this is our second year doing it, though I know Emily and Maya did it at least one or a couple years before. So Emily, Maya, myself, Katie, and Ariel all got the same colorway. We all got silk Shanico silk was like an 80-20 blend, which was blended super nicely, and that's why it is like quite shiny. I don't know if you can kind of tell that. And then Maya got she's the only one that got the confetti tweed. And she did say like it was very hard to spin up super thin. So she has like a DK weight sock. The rest of us are all doing DRK every day. So you'll see if you watch Ariel's podcast and if Emily films sometime in January that you'll also see hers. And yeah, they're all knitting up similarly but differently, so they'll be all like little cousin socks. I'm very excited for that. That's gonna be so fun. So these are my DRK Everyday Socks, Andrew Mallard pattern. And I'm sure I didn't say that in the beginning because I'm like not working. Days are weird. I'm discombobulated a little bit. So sorry, bear with me. So I did cast those on. And then I cast on 4 other projects. I know, don't come at me. I told you guys I was going to do this. If I got these sweaters done in time, I was going to go cast on crazy the 30th and the 31st, which is what I did. I actually got to do it one day early. So that was nice. I cast those socks on even before that. But I don't know that this is the order of which things were cast on, but I'll go in this order for now. This will be my long-term project for the year probably. And that's my Stella quilt blanket. Yep, you're right. I only have 1 square done. I was really going to join last night, the second one, but I got a little distracted with the other thing, which I will show you. So here's one. I had to redo this. I knit this twice because I knit it with the recommended needle size first, and I thought for like half the square, I was like, oh, I think I'm on gauge. And then once I actually like measured the final one, I didn't cut it. I just like pulled the yarn, I weighed it, I measured it, and I was like, nope, this is too big. So I went down a needle size. I actually went down to a 3.5. So I went down 2 sizes, which I just with the size that it was. And I didn't like the density of it either. So if I had liked what the 4mm needles ended up being, I would have kept it, but I felt like it was already like too stretched out. Like it was just, so I was afraid that with the various types of yarn I have in here, I would run into them becoming like even floopier and weirder. And I want the squish factor. I want it to stay like nice and dense. This is non-superwash undyed yarn from Wool to Die For that I got off the DSash server from somebody who like used to dye yarn and was getting rid of a bunch. So it's got like a kind of yellowy undertone. Not a problem for me in this blanket because it's just a blanket going in my house. I did knit from 2 separate balls. I've got 1 or 2 others already caked up, and I've got more I will cake up. Like I have 9 skeins, I think. So I'm going to have to get a little bit more. I think I'm going to need like 12 or 13, maybe even more than that, because the border takes quite a lot of yarn, like tons. And I don't think I want a scrappy border. I think I want it to be like all this color. So I'll just get another bag of this or whatever from Wool to Die For. That's all I have. But I've shown you, like I've got these, here's one. These bags of like minis already sorted and I think what I want the squares to be. But I've pulled out all my minis because I'm going to take my fingering picture and I will do like rows of minis. What I won't do is like anything that I've started projects will go into the projects page, including all these bags of minis I have sorted. But I didn't take my fingering weight picture yet. And when I do that, because I pulled out minis to like reorganize some other stuff, I think I want to swap out a couple of colors. I'm going to do that first. Then I'll take my picture probably tomorrow of the fingering weight and of the progress picture. And so I'll include that with what has already been done, which is 1 square. Maybe I'll add another one tonight. And so it'll look like a little more progress in that picture. But that I think will take me a lot of the year to finish, if not the entire year. And I'm not going to rush it. So I'll just continue showing you these 16 square squares, and I will make I think that I'm doing the size large, and I think that it's supposed to be, I can do whatever configuration I want. I would think I would like to do 12, which is like the large throw. And it's going to be quite big, and I am doing it modular. So I decided she has 2 different join methods. You can do it all in one. If I was doing like a small square, like a baby blanket, I'd probably do that and not have the seam. But this is going to be too big, and I think the seam will actually give it a little bit more structure. So it's a crochet seam that you do up the back. So I'm going to have the seam up the back sides of both of these. There is the back side, just like with how the squares are joined and stuff. So I think it'll be fine. and then doing the border. Hopefully I'll do the border in like December. So it's not lingering for more than a year, but it really, I cannot guarantee I'm going to get through these very quickly, but I'm excited to do it still. I just think it's like mentally I need to make it like a long-term thing. I can't be like, I'm going to finish this by June, because I think that would stress me out a lot, because it's going to be huge. But it'll be a great way to use like a lot of minis, and I have some other like various half skeins and other things in there too, so it's not just minis. And it'll use not an entire mini, but quite a lot of a mini. So that's good. I'm still, I'll share it in my goals, but I'm still working on, like, I'm going to need some scraps to do my next book tracking thing too. So that's fine. Okay. Now this one also is mostly because I just didn't want it to be in my picture again this year, but here's more, Nudidin. And actually, you guys, I was like really addicted. I just knit all of this in one evening. So this is the finest kind. This is a pattern by Alicia Plummer. I got back a couple months ago, kind of right after it came out, because I showed it to Mike, and he actually, like, I showed him a couple options for his 2026 sweater. This is my husband. I knit him a sweater every year for the last few years. So he has like 3 or 4 now. I think he has 3. One was like a UW Huskies one out of like acrylic yarn, so it's not nice, but it was something he felt like comfortable wearing to games and stuff, and he could spill on it and not be worried. Then he has, I made him the High Lonesome last year, and the year before that I made him the Stick Season. And so this one is an all over texture. I'm actually surprised he picked this one, because I showed him like a couple, and he's like kind of a plain guy. He likes not a lot going on his clothes. But he picked this texture, and he said, I think if it's all over the same, it'll be fine. Also this one was like modeled on a guy. The model for this is Alicia's husband Justin, and it looks great on him. And I think he was like, I want to be as cool as that guy, and I was like, you sure can be. I did try to show him patterns specifically for this yarn, although I had a couple other options in there. The next one I'm gonna make for him also, maybe I'll do it next, I might do it in 2026, but maybe I'll do it in 2027, is with that blue yarn I got from Yarn Swap, which is also an Alicia Plummer pattern, and the Bibliophile. And I think that it's, again, that one is a more like graded for men of the Bibliophile patterns, but I think like very basic, and he was like, yeah, I think I like that. Anyway, this one, finest kind. This is supposed to, so I'm doing the classic fit, which is what my, we kind of read through the beginning of the pattern together. He wanted the classic fit. That's what Justin's wearing in the picture. It's 2 to 4 inches of ease. I'm making a size 2, which is a 40.5 inch chest circumference, which is what will fit him with about 3 inches of ease. So like right in the middle of that classic ease range, which I think is going to be good for him. And because he has a broader, and this is bottom up, that's actually kind of nice. Like it'll be a little bit hard to try on him, right? But I think it's written to be rather long as well. And like we measured his hip from right at his underarm. So I'm probably going to do this like 1 inch shorter, because he has a short torso. But still keep it like pretty long on him. Because he has broad shoulders, I'm going to just pay attention a little bit to like what the measurements say once I get towards that part. If I just need to give him a little bit more room, I'm sure I can. This is a moss stitch pattern, so it's, 2 knits stacked on 2 purls stacked on 2 knits, right? That's so the entire thing is essentially that you're just doing ribbing, but you move what is your knit and purl start the whole way. It does have sides. I'm also like in the middle of a row, but like I ended one small ball I had that was doubled of this Nudidin. It does have these 2 sides. Also, this green under this light is looking like this more olivey color, but like I thought that it was a little bit cooler toned upstairs, but it looks like that under the light to my eyeballs too. So it'll be fine for him. He can wear pretty much any green. Yeah. So I am excited to get this started. I also thought, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do the ribbing and that'll be it. And then I was like, actually, this is kind of fun. Gauge wise, I think I'm pretty close to on gauge stitch wise, not for rows, which is fine, because I also like don't have a lot of extra yarn. And also Nudidin is like estimated, right? So like they tell you how much is approximately in a plate, but every colorway is a little bit different. Some of them are a little bit thicker. Some, like you just may not have quite as much yardage as you think. So I'm going to hope I'm fine, but I'm going to also err, because I don't know even what this colorway is. I cannot get more. So I'm going to try to err on the side of like, I think it'll be fine, but it's also nice that this has a little bit of a wrongness in in row gauge, but it's going to be interesting for the top. So I have to like look at the shaping a little bit because I might have to modify it if I need to do like a little bit more rapid increases or something. So we'll see when I split what happens. But yeah, enjoying this so far. Really did, like, really, I could not put it down. We were just watching a movie and I was going to switch to a different project and I was just like, no, I'm just going to keep going. Again, it was Lord of the Rings. That's all we watched all week. So here it is. Finest Kind, made with Nudiden, size 2 for my husband. Oh, and I am using 4.5 millimeter needles, and I'm pretty sure the recommended needles is a 5. Yeah. So a 5 and a 4. And I did a small swatch, like not very big, maybe like 12 rows and 25 stitches or something, like it's just a small one that was more than 4 inches though. And I did it with a 4.5 thinking I'd need to go down at least 1 needle size, and it was more just to see if I have to go down more than that. And I was pretty bang on for stitch gauge. Again, not for rows, but that's fine. That is a thing that's more conquerable to me. So here's this one other cast on. My husband's birthday is the 8th of February. Last year, I didn't finish his sweater until April. Not that it's like for his birthday, but it's like a nice thing to give him because we don't really do a lot of gifts. I like to gift it to him around his birthday. This year, I'll just be a lot closer, hopefully. Who knows? If I just like whip through that, I might just get it done really fast. Okay, so cast on order. The next thing I cast on, maybe had about that much progress too. I am so excited. So this is not the one I was going to cast on. I was like, I want to cast on a colorwork sweater, but I was going to cast on my night book, which is fingering weight. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something nice to myself and do a DK one instead, which is also yarn. Actually, when I was pulling stuff out, I was like, ooh, maybe I want to do this now. And also because I'd love to start the year with a handspun project, one of my own handspuns. So I cast on my Pressed Flowers pullover. So this is the front orientation. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Okay. Let me go through first a little bit about construction, then we'll talk about the yarn. So you cast on with your collar. I actually did a German twisted cast on. Normally for something like this, I would do the tubular cast on, like the 2-step tubular, but this is a lot of stitches and it's crazy to me that she did this. And I just don't know how it would work out for smaller or way bigger sizes. Feels right for my size, but every size casts on the same collar. And then you do the same short rows. And then when short rows are done, you just expand at a different rate to get to the final thing. I think that's wild. Maybe it works and people love her patterns. It is a very deep raglan. So I think maybe she just like let it be that way. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not like going to judge the pattern until I finish it. But I do find that to be an interesting choice. So because there was 100 and like something stitches in the neckline, I decided I didn't want, like, tubular cast-ons are not always quite as structured. So I was like, let me do a German twisted cast on because it gives lots of stretch, but it's a little bit more structured. So like hopefully would like suck in a little bit and like keep sucked in. And I think that was the right move for this. Like, I think it'll have plenty of stretch to go over my head, but it's not gonna like lose its shape as much. Okay. So I did that. I did the short rows per pattern, and you do short row shaping. You can kind of see here. Where's the front? Okay. So like here in the front, like this flower is right at the front, but in the back, there's like rows of the like sort of, I don't know, dots, the grid. This whole thing is really on a grid, and then the flowers are just stockinette. So it's mosaic knitting. It's been really fun. I finished one full, like after the short rows, one full increase, and you just continue to do the increase however many times set for your size. I think for me it's like 3 more times. It was good because it was like you have to get through it and then you're like, oh, okay, like what is happening in each of these rows? It's charted. The increases are easy to understand. And then I just had never done a pressed flowers thing. So the only thing to note here is that you're doing the grid, and in the grid of mosaic, your main color gets 1 full knit row and then 1 full purl row, like not inclusive of however you have to do your increases and stuff. But the mosaic part really comes into your contrast color, which does like a knit 1 slip 1 to make the grid. And then the next row is a purl, and that's why it's got like such a nice bumpy texture. Now, if you were doing the cardigan, it's just knit both rows, I would assume, right? So your front side, back side. And I think because she did that in the cardigan and it looks so great, I think she did the pullover later, and then she was like, oh, you got to do a lot of purling for this, but I'm not going to be bothered by it. It'll be fine. But when you get to the flowers, is that you do the whole thing knit. So I think it just makes it stand out differently. Like, it would definitely be a different look if this had the purl rose in it too. So yeah, it's cute. So I have like little flowers started. Like I said, I did one full increase. I just started the second increase rows, and I had to quit. I was tired the other night. So yeah, I'm really liking it though. I think this will be a really like fun and kind of addictive one to do. Here's the back side for you to see. Oh, so let's talk about the yarn really quick. This I pull out so you can see the cakes. This is called Ritual from Sonder Yarn Co. Here, it's the same as this one, which this DK shelf hasn't moved yet. This is the Sunday Morning DK. Okay, it is a 75% BFL, 25% Masham, non-superwash, 268 yards DK. So it is, I think it's knitting up at a DK weight. It's just like it's a 2-ply and it's a little bit plumpy. And I think it'll bloom beautifully. I really can't wait to use this yarn. That's this one, Ritual. I bought these intentionally to go together, by the way, which let me show you this in a second. So then this is called Daydream, which is Cormo fiber that I spun up the beginning of last year into a 2-ply DK. And I tried to do like a relatively loose ply on this so that it would match similarly to the ply on this one. I think I did a pretty good job actually. And this is from Bramble Ridge, and I got it at La Mercerie. They sell Bramble Ridge. They also have this color. Like, a couple people asked me when I was spinning it, and they do have it on their like website. Like, I don't know if you can sometimes custom order colors, but anyway, Cormo. That's what I got. And like, I think it's mostly going to look like this. Like, I don't think I'm going to have huge color changes throughout, but I think you'll see there'll be some blue rose, some paler rose of like purpley color, but like it is mostly a blue, cream, and light purple color. And what I did was like, I was also holding, I have a caked skein of this. I was holding next to each other, but this would also have been gorgeous. I got this way later, and actually one of the reasons I didn't swap is because I only have 3 skeins of Ritual, which should get me the whole sweater, because you are also adding in like 2.5 skeins of this. I have like 5 of this, 6 of this, and so I have a full sweater quantity. So I was like, I'm not going to break it up. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to change my mind. I think it'll be great. And actually, I'm loving it. I really love the combo. I think it's really, really fun. It's like a really good complement to this purpley, almost, it's not brown, it is very purple, but it's got that kind of like moody tone. So sizing, I am still debating. And only because I had this choice in the beginning, but I can do either, I think I'll have just enough yarn to make size 4. I'm thinking I'm leaning a little bit more towards size 3, which is, so size 4 is a 55-inch finished circumference, and size 3 is a 49-inch. It's quite a big difference. 6 inches is a lot. I like when there's like 4 inches in between, because I feel like then you really find your sweet spot. But I think I'm going to, I think I like the look of a little less ease. But I do like how casual this one looks. I don't know. I looked through pictures of a bunch of the finished ones of both sizes, and I'm just like of more ease and less ease on people. There were more people that I think picked more ease, but there were a couple of people that had less ease, and I really liked the look of it. So I don't know. I'm going to just think on it maybe another day or two, and then I'll decide as I'm going through. But because they all started the same, I just didn't have to make that decision yet. And so it is really just, I think I add another part of the raglan increases to make it like a little bit longer and have more stitches on. I do think like raglan wise, I probably like the feel of a 3 more, but I'll look at the depth of it, of where I am after the increases to 3, maybe. That's a later me problem, and we'll get there. The last thing I cast on, and this one has almost nothing done, so don't worry, we won't really talk about it, is my redo of the Birch. You guys knew I was going to use this colorway. I talked about it many months ago. But this is called Periwinkle. This is dyed for me by Erin from Backloop Yarn Co. And she did a custom colorway for me. So she didn't carry this ever, but I asked for very specific colors, sent her some inspiration, and she sent me back that. I got fluff in the same color, and I was going to knit them together to do a Cargill by Rebecca Clow. I knit up a swatch and I didn't like the actual colors together. And let me show you. It's really a Surrey problem because I wanted Surrey, and you can see that the Surrey is like quite a lot purpler and had more breaks in it than the fingering weight. So, which is fine. But I am just going to go with this now for a Birch. This is a superwash fingering weight sweater. I do think the Birch benefits from a non-superwash thing, but you know what? I don't really care. I have the yardage. I'm going to make it. I think I have 5 skeins of this fingering weight, and so I do have enough. This is a sweater that takes like an enormous amount of yarn, by the way. I didn't really think about that until I was going through the pattern page. But this is a sweater by Andrew Mowry. It is in half fisherman's rib, so I'm going to do a lot of purling. I did cast this on last December, maybe, with some friends, and I tried to use a different yarn and it did not work. Okay. It was not meant to be that yarn and pattern combo. That happens. I had to just cut my losses and rip it out. So this one, I think I only have enough yarn to do a size 5, which is a 45-inch circumference. It is meant to have 0 to 6 inches of ease, and 45 inches, like some days, is what my best is. 45 to 46. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a 45 because I think I'll like the fit of how that sits, especially like, again, in like the top of my chest. So, and if, again, I could probably cast on like 4 extra stitches to keep me in pattern, but if I wanted a little bit more ease under, but I have a smaller waist than I have bust, so I don't typically need that or feel the need for that. So yes, I'm excited to get that started. I'm halfway through the neckband, and that is a tubular cast on, which is just, I mean, I've already suffered through that once. It's not like that bad. I've done tubular cast ons from bottom up, and that's horrible, but this was, I don't know, it's a lot of stitches, like 126 stitches to start with. Like, it just feels like a lot of stitches. But yeah, so I'm excited though. I will get the rest of that collar done, and I like intentionally, like I started doing it last night, and I got several rows in, and I picked something else up to work on for a little bit, partly because I was like, if I get too close to finishing the collar, I'm going to want to go into short rows, but there are a lot of short rows in this. I need to do them all at once for several reasons, but like, it's one that I know I messed up last time and had to redo part of it, and then it still wasn't meant to be. But you have to do them all at once. It's a lot of them, but it's just, yeah, it's just like the way to stay in pattern. I was like, it's too confusing to go back and forth. So I will intentionally do that for like, again, an evening where it's the only thing I work on. Phew, that was a ton. So that's everything that is finished and cast on other than the snake. Let's go through books and the book snake. So let's pull them out. So measurements of this guy, he is fully 22 feet, 9 inches and half, 9.5 inches. So he's a big boy. You know what? I'm gonna do a book recap episode for myself, which I will publish like separately from any knitting content. You can watch or not watch. But I will decide the book boyfriend name actually probably during that episode, because I still have to go through. I am not sure. Like, is this the year? I have had a lot of book boyfriends I really liked. And so is this the year of like a cowboy book boyfriend? Because that's something that I felt like was a big flavor this year. Or like a dark romance book boyfriend. Or like I could go through any of the number of snake books related and give him a snake name from that. Like, it's certainly not going to be from Kiss of the Basilisk, but from the other book. The other books that had snake related terminology, 2 of which were this week. So let's just talk through what we've got for this week. So his tail is done. He's got decreases just on the back side here. Because I didn't have the same stitch count, like I had to sort of just figure that out for shaping to like be similar and how I like it. And I think like overall it like looks fine with him. It's a little bit weird when you just look at the tail, but whatever. So let's go through books. And one thing I will do, so like I said, I'll do superlatives this week, but I'm going to do stats next week with my flat lay. And in stats, I'll also give you some like quick book stats just so you can see some of the things. But let's go through what I've read this week, which was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, there were 5 books. So here, we'll start with this one. This little one here is The Throne of Ice and Blood, which is the second of the Flame and Thorn. I think there's 4 books, and I don't know if it's completed. Maybe it's completed, but anyway, there's, I think, 4 out. By Marion Blackwood, and it's like a dragon shifter fae book. Fae are oppressed by the dragon shifters, but that's because like they did something bad many generations ago to the dragon shifters. There's a lot of world building in this. I think it's a fairly good like romantasy series that I've read. The dragon shifter general is awful to our main fae female character in the first one, and that's the one that had like a lot of trials, and the trials got them a ticket out of the very totally secluded fae kingdom that they're in. And she just wants a new life for herself, and so she joins it, and he's trying to sabotage her, and she cannot figure out why, like other than the fact that she one time threw a drink in his face. It's there's like a lot of funny snark happening in this one. I like the female main character. There are definitely parts where she's a big dummy, but also like the way that she was raised, like there's definitely reasons why she's not like why she has the worldview she has, and it's like explained pretty well. So anyway, I enjoyed this one. This second one is you're sort of figuring out the larger nefarious plot that's happening because she was so sheltered. She's like learning about the other things now that she has gotten her ticket out of the Fae world kingdom. So this second one, this one here, I just had a couple of like an hour and a half or something left, but got returned to the library several months ago. Anyway, I finally got it back. This is a book by Rina called God of Malice. It is the first of the Legacy of God series. Honestly, I really don't think I'll finish this series. Like, they leave it off with a little bit of intrigue. You definitely have all of these side characters you learn about, which will probably be the other people in books, but I just, like, did not care. I didn't care about any of these characters. I just didn't care about the world. It's basically, like, 2 super snooty rich schools that are next to each other and, like, off of Brighton Island, which I don't know if that's a real place in England. And one of them has, like, a bunch of American students, which, whatever. And the other one has a bunch of British students, and they like hate each other, but they have these secret societies, and basically like this girl's best friend commits suicide, and she thinks that it was like because of one of the secret societies, and she tries to like get in to figure out what they did. I'm not sure what her plot is, and she's like super sheltered and whatever. Anyway, one of the guys gets interested in her, and he is like, this is a dark romance. He is like not nice to her. He's also like a sociopath. Like, I mean, very like they talk about him being a sociopath. Like, that's not even all the things that would make me not want it. I just didn't care. Like the way that she wrote it, like, and I had this problem with the Deception trilogy. Like, I ended up reading that whole thing, but like, I still just didn't really care about any of the characters in that whole thing. So like, you can write morally gray or even morally black characters and still give them enough depth that the reader cares about them, and I just didn't hit for me. Now I know a lot of people like really enjoy this series, so not to yuck your yum, just like it if you like it, but I don't think I'm gonna read any more because I don't even care about the side characters to learn more. So there's too many other books out there. This one, though, I read and it was the best time ever. So this is the Everseas book number 2 called The Ever Queen. The first one is The Ever King. I read it several months ago. I don't know why it took me so long to get back to it, but it was so good. It was so good. I did the cover, so I did like some dark sea colors and then a little bit of this like tanny color to go in there with like the cover. And this one, as a reminder, is like the world is that there's a fae kingdom. Maybe like everybody's fae. There's also some like other races that come out during this one that they're like, what? I thought you were a myth. You're like, oh, that's hilarious. Anyway, there's the fae kingdom on land, and then there's a fae kingdom in the sea. Now, this is a very interesting conception. You have to like conceptualize like how this is happening, but they call it the Ever, and it is essentially like there's a chasm between the two worlds that is very hard to pass through, but they can. And when they pass through, they go like underwater into the sea with their boat, but they also just end up being like in a different dimension where the weather is totally different, but they're like not under the sea. They're like on land on islands, but it's more like of a sea-based kingdom, like more island-based, more sailing-based. I don't know. You gotta wrap your mind around that. But in our first book, the princess of the land kingdom gets kidnapped by the Ever King, and that's the book called The Ever King. And they have a history, and you figure out not everything is as it seems. In the end of that book, the Ever Queen gets kidnapped. Again, she's like double kidnapped over here, and the Ever King needs to try to save her. And then you figure out like all the, so this is, I'm not going to give you much more than that, but like the second book is like about getting her back, and also about figuring, like uncovering the bigger plot and scheme about why she got kidnapped, and having some unlikely parties come together to become allies. It was very fun. I super enjoyed it. I thought it was like it's well written. It's this by LJ Andrews. It's like well written. It's fun. You get a lot of like mix of characters. A lot of them are like flawed, but like in an interesting way. I really enjoyed it. I don't love all LJ Andrews books that I've read, but I really enjoyed this series. I thought it was very fun. Okay, this one here is called Big Nick Energy. There are many Big Nick Energy books out there, by the way, so to make sure you find the right one. This is called From the Seasons of Revenge. It's 1.5. So the first book is about her best friend, Abby, and her, like, ends up being her husband, Damien, who are featured in this book. I didn't read their love story. I don't think you need to. These are like standalone, interconnected romance books, but I just wanted another holiday one, and this one was pretty fun. The author is Morgan Elizabeth, and I did like the trees from the tree, and then the background is very like pinky red. So I read this one on the Kindle, and this was like my between Christmas and New Year's kind of book. And yeah, it's fun. It's like a super cinnamon roll guy, and he falls first, and essentially his son goes out on a date with an older woman who has kids, and then continues to hang out with her, but says that they're just friends, and he's skeptical. And then the son brings her to Thanksgiving, and the dad is like, oh, he finally put it together, but like basically you were getting to know her and telling me all about her to like warm me up to the idea that she'd be perfect for me. And now that I met her, I think you're right, and I'm going to try to win her over. And he essentially tells her two daughters, who are like 9 and 7 or something, about the elf on the shelf. And they are apparently already knew, but they were like, oh, that would be so fun. And then she's mad because she's a single mom, and she's like, who's got the time for that? And he decides to come do the elf on the shelf for them every day. And it's really sweet. It's just a sweet story. There's some like off-page, like abusive relationship that's off page that you just like learn about. So like that is a trigger warning, but otherwise it's just like an ooey gooey, like learning to accept love and like being treated well. And it was just, I loved it. It was great. It was a fun, that was very like Hallmarky feel, good time. Okay. This last one here is The Serpent and the Wolf. I figured I started the year, the very first book I read this year that I finished this year was The Anaconda Downstairs. I think it's downstairs, which is like a funny romance book, but I decided that I would end the year on a snake too. I think my last book in like June, so halfway through the year, was also a snake book. So a lot of snake, like just in the title. This one is just in the title too. But The Serpent and the Wolf, this is the first of the Dark Inheritance series by Rebecca Robinson, and there's a couple other Rebecca Robinson books that I think are out that I'm like have made it onto my TBR, but this one I got from the library, was like available, and I figured I would just end the year with a snake book, and it was really good. I think the second one comes out sometime early next year. I will definitely read it. This is one where I kind of wish I had I don't ever immersive read, but I like kind of wish I had, because I thought the audiobook was really good, but there's a lot of world. There's a lot of talk about different nationalities. There's also like a lot of talk about like land structure because of like the political things that are happening. So like, I just wish I had a map, and I bet I could find it from the library and just like flip through to see like the visual of the map, or I could just probably Google it. But I feel like that would have helped during the understanding, like, because there's scheming happening and you're like, but I just don't understand where people are, right? Like, where are they in space? And so that would have been a little bit helpful. But otherwise, like, I thought it was written really well. It was also like, it's a very interesting like magic system and political machination. So like essentially you start with the very first scene is that on someone's wedding night. So you don't see the ceremony or any of the lead up to it. It's just that the girl is on her wedding night and she wants to get away from her brand new husband. She does not know him. She's like never really met him other than before the wedding, like at the wedding. And she does not want to be married, but she got married off by her brother. There's a lot more to it than that she finds out later, but she has what she thinks is a curse, ends up being some magic, but like she wants to learn about like, why is she cursed and can she get rid of it? And so she doesn't want to be married because she doesn't think he'll help her. It was really fun. Had fun with that. Now Snaky is going to get a name. I'll tell you next week what the snake's name is. I'm going to go give it to Theo though to play with. Actually, I need to take some pictures of it. I don't know where I'm going to take pictures of it. I need light. It's already dark out. Maybe on like my front porch. I don't know. I'm going to put him somewhere and get his whole body so you can like see the whole thing. Yeah, it'll be pretty fun. And that's it for the year, but I will go through book stats next week. I'll go through the real book project next week. I'm not sure exactly the cadence that I'm going to start it with, but I'm going to do socks. And so I think the plan right now is looking at sort of averages of books I read per quarter. I'm going to do quarterly socks. And so I just don't know if I'm going to start them right away or if I'm going to like do mid-quarter and start knitting them, or even like just the last month of the quarter. So I don't have them as like sort of a lingering whip, but I'm going to just do stripes per book. Okay, so the thing that I want to show you now is, I don't think it's a spoiler. It is the first. Quarter 4 is over, but this is my 4th quarter of my fiber from Paisley Knits. So if you did not receive yours yet and you don't want to see it, go to the next chapter now. But otherwise I will show it to you. So I'm going to show you in order of months. So this is October, and this is called Highlands. And it is Highlands. It's very Highlands color. This I will have had the picture up here, right, or whatever, of the inspo. I think she did a really good job with her inspo for this one. It is got like all of those like mossy PD colors in it. Like, yeah, very Highlands, very pretty. When I got them, they just all come together and they don't have like the month tag or whatever. And I was like, I hope this is October. This feels like the most October color. It is. This is October. The next one is called Aurora. And this one is interesting. So this one is like the Aurora sky, and she just picked a picture, right? So like this is her inspiration of it here. And I think that I guess I would have expected more like neon-y colors, but I kind of really like this one. It's got like a little bit of the dark sky color, and I think she even like like per the picture, there's like a lot, and I don't know if you can see, it's a little lighter than it's looking, but like there is a lot of like this purple, and like by the tree line there's like the yellow, and there is like some bright green in here, but like it's just not reading as like maybe as vibrant as that picture is, or I would have expected more like of a tealy kind of lean to it, but it doesn't have that. It's really just more of the purples, the deep pinks, and like a little bit of like maybe this like yellowy color in that bottom corner, or like the skyline kind of color. So I like it. I think it's really gorgeous. Oh, sorry. The Highlands is Shaniko. Okay. That's why it's so fluffy and gorgeous. The Aurora is Haunui Hoget, and I don't remember, like, it's a sheep from a specific place. I've looked it up before, but anyway, so this is also super soft. These are the 3 softest that I got in the box, and like I had a couple that were like definitely not as fine. Like these are really like 18.4 microns, and this one is 20.4, and then this one's 18.5. This one doesn't feel as fluffy just like in the braid as this one, but this one feels like so soft. So this is just super fine merino. I think that finest superfine merino I've ever had is a 19. So this is even softer than that. Anyway, this color is called Alpine Sun, which, as you can see from the picture, is very like like a December morning in the Alps, like has like the glow of sunrise, and it's got like pinks and oranges and all this purpley color, which is like from the trees. This color is so gorgeous. It's not something I'd normally pick for myself. Like I would never buy this like if I saw it at a store, just because like I'm not like drawn to this like peachy apricot-y orange, but I think it's so pretty. So it's a kind of a fun thing about getting the mystery box, especially because I have other people I can spin for. This is not like I must wear it if I spin it or whatever. These are the 3 from Q4. Now I'm going to flash up a picture here right now. That is all 12 of them. And this is an inside light. It's not the best light in the world, but is all 12 of them in order of months. Like I think starting, you know, as you would read it, one row to the next row. And so that's all 12 Paisley knit ones. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with it. If anybody has any ideas, let me know. I don't know if I want to use them all on the same project because they're quite different in micron count and just like in fiber feel. I know I could do like a blanket or something, but like I think I might just mix and match them into my stash. And like some of the like less fine ones, I might like try to do a sample spin. And again, I'm going to eventually get a drum carder, and I might just use those like with other fibers to like soften them up a little bit. So I'm not opposed to that. This is not something I'm like not attached to them all being spun into a project together. It was really fun to get a different sample box. All 3 of these I've not spun Hanwi, but I have some. But all 3 of these are like very soft, like similar to other things. There was like a rambouillet in there, but then there was like some finished there was like other things I've never tried before. So I think that'll be really nice. And there was like a luxury version too, which I think like included camel and silk, and it was a little bit more expensive in the grand scheme of things, not by a lot, but like I just figured I want to try like more of the true wools, like 100% wools. So I'm glad I did it. I'm not signing up for another mystery box this coming year. I maybe would do it in the future. Depending on like inspos and other things, and also just like how stash goes over the next like year or so. I would like to get my drum carder and get some more fiber moving, but I have not spun in over a month. So we're not, I mean, that's mostly just because I've been like knitting like crazy, and also not just got a lot of things going on over here. So I've not been in the headspace to do that, but I will pull out something starting in January, to do. I know this is already going to be a long episode, but we are going to go through, really quick, some, goals and superlatives. So my last year goals, I'm going to go through really quick and say like yes or no. We don't have to go really in depth on it, but my make 9 done, all of those done. Right at the end of the year, but still done. For me, my gift make 9 mostly done. There's one that I did not complete, which was something for I did more than 9 gift makes, so I feel fine about it. And either way, it's just a fun guide, right? My sweater spin, I actually did a couple of sweater spins, but I did not complete a garment from any of them, so I'm gonna call that like 70% done. I did the hard part. I did 2 different garment spins this year. One of them was like that silk, or it was like a bamboo merino, like purpley red one. And then I had the like really vibrant grab bag thing that I did for Theo, plus the partial sweater spin that I'm using right now for the Daydream. I should have been more specific in my goal setting, which I will be for this year. But anyway, not done completely. Cross stitch once a week. I got through to August. I did cross stitch once a week. Somebody asked me the project progress on that, and I will eventually pull it back out and then show you guys, like hopefully when I'm actually done them. I'm not making it a goal this year because I just truly, I didn't like love doing it. And I feel like it would be more successful to me if I just like spent a month working hard and like doing many more days, like maybe a month where I just need a break from knitting, or I don't know. I don't ever feel that way. So I don't know when I'm going to do it, but anyway, did not do. Year of socks, done, completed. I did 14 pairs of socks. So I added a couple extra because of the kids' socks. And then spin 4 pounds of fiber. I did 5 and 12 ounces, 5 pounds and 12 ounces. So I did a lot, even not spinning the whole last month of the year. And then testing only designers I love, or putting a cap on it. And that was like a vague thing I kind of said. I think I said on the podcast like last year on the goals episode, it would be nice if I did less than 12 garments and shawls. I did less than 12. We'll go through that in stats next week, but I think I only did like 8 garments and shawls. So very successful there. And like, just, I did way less testing overall. I did some early accessories in the early part of the year, which felt like oh, there's so many number wise, but it was just like some mittens and hats. And then for the last one was to buy less yarn than I bought in 2024. Now we'll go through stats again next week, but I did this. I bought like almost 25% less, I think, or 30% less. So like quite a lot yardage wise, just yardage, not by number of skeins. Okay. Now my 2026 goals. I have less goals this year, but I think this will be good for me. So, and they're like really just tangible things. So I have, like the Year of Socks, we're not doing Year of Socks, but my friends and I all decided we're going to do 1 skein projects every month. I'm pulling those out as I'm doing my rearrange. So I will have all of those to share next week, when I also share on Make 9. And I'm going to, I think some of them will be assigned a project and some of them will be assigned the homework of a project. So we'll sort of see. I might have like a genre of project I think I want to do with it. Like it'll be a hat, but I don't know which hat pattern, you know, that kind of thing. So I'll show you those 12 next week. I do want to make, I have a Make 9. I have it set. The second one, I am going to do a gift Make 9. Now, the only reason I'm doing a gift Make 9 this year is because I am a like total weirdo and just decided to tell my nieces at Christmas. I was like, you guys want sweaters next year? Like, I don't even know what I was thinking, but it's going to be fine. So I have 4 nieces and nephews, and so all of them will get a sweater. I picked out 3 of them with them. That was actually really cute. So the 11 and the 9-year-old were like so into picking like the color they wanted and the pattern they wanted. So I'll share all those next week. And then I need to still talk to my youngest niece, so she's just got a placeholder right now. And then I'll also put something for Theo on there, something for Mike on there. And then I'm already at 6. So I was like, you know what? I'll just make 9. And I'll probably I'll put a couple of smaller projects in there too. And I always make something for every year for my best friend. And so I already have her pattern picked out. So that's 7. Like we're basically Make 9 already. Then my next one is that I would like to do a woolen sweater spin and knit the object. So fully through. I don't have enough like fiber to make it. It might be something that I'd like create for myself from like some fiber that I have. It might be something that I just buy, you know, some woolen prepped fiber from somewhere early in the year, but I'm not entirely sure yet, but I am going to make that a goal. Okay. And that's it. I decided not to have a stash goal this year because, well, we'll talk about it next week, but I am happily stash negative this year, which is so great and a great thing to strive for. But I already know I put 2 big orders in the month of November. So I'm not going to be stash negative. It's just I'm not going to be next year. I think I might do I might add 1 goal to this, and that's a yardage based goal. And that's because I've got minis and some double projects. So it's like, that's like an emphasis for me to get the blanket done. And if I do anything, it'll be like 75,000 yards. Okay. That'll be like that'll be the goal, which is more than I knit this year, but not by a lot. But that would be a reasonable goal with holding fingering weight double for a blanket. I also may just do, because I said I was going to do some like incoming projects, but I have an emphasis on using some of this older yarn. So I might just put a goal, like a smaller stash goal of getting out some of my older yarn. And that might include some scraps and some other things to just like get through some yardage that has been hanging around a long time. Not that I don't love it. I love it and I want it to be here, but I just like, I could cycle through. I know you guys sorry, hopefully you're not too fatigued this week, but we're going to do quick superlatives. And I wanted to put these outside of the stats video because I feel like they're kind of redundant. We'll just do this first and then we'll do stats next week and we'll get more in depth on those things. But here is what I've got for you. Okay, so I'm going to just tell you some of these superlatives. Some of these are recycles from last year. Some of these are new things. But let's just go through them. So let's start with a fun wear thing. So my most worn thing. One of these is not made this year, but I will just still add it in here because it's, by my knitwear tracker. So my most worn tee, which is the one that's not made this year, was my Moonset tee. It's a banger. This just means I think I need another one in my wardrobe because I wore it a lot, like 11 times or something. and not a lot of months there, everybody. My most worn sweater, this might surprise you, is my Northwoods V-neck. That's that boucle Helm's Deep yarn. Flash picture here maybe of that I finished in like January of last year, and I wore it a ton. It's the one I just throw on for comfort. And then my most worn like other like pullover, you know, whatever, is my Traveler. I wore that quite a lot too, and I did finish that in the spring, so that's also maybe a little bit surprising, but good. Least worn. I have actually a bunch of things that only got like one wear. Those are mostly my yellow knits and then my vests. I don't find, and this is on me, like I just need to find other ways to style them. I do have a button down. I do have some long sleeves. I just don't find myself reaching for them as often as I do a pullover. If it's like cold enough in my office to wear a long sleeve and a vest, I typically just want to wear a sweater. Not to say that I'm going to get rid of them or anything, but it's just a thing to note. Like maybe vests are not something I invest a ton of time in, or I just got to find a different way to wear them. My best fitting thing I made this year, to me, my personal thing that I feel like best in when I'm wearing it, is my Amaretta blouse. This one I made for Flock as like our group color knit along, and I just think it's super flattering. I think I did a good job with the fit and the sizing and other things, and just like the scoop neckline. I really love a scoop neckline. This is my most flattering. My worst fitting is my Calm Night cami. This was a little bit like the yarn was too drapey. I should have made it a little bit shorter in the neckline area. This was a little bit on me, not quite on the pattern, but it just is like, it's too like low in my underarm and like a little too low in the chest. So the whole thing just needed to be brought up a little bit, but it is what it is. Will I wear it? Probably. Could I give it away? Like also probably. I don't know. I'm undecided. My most disappointing knit, different, because actually like, I mean, that's kind of sad because it's a fingering weight top. I would make that one again though. I think like overall the fit conceptually is good. I just have to like change a little bit of the measurements or pay closer attention to them while I'm knitting. The most disappointing to me though were actually a couple of hats I missed. So the Harlow flip hat, I thought like just didn't fit the way, like, and I think that is maybe a gauge problem, but just like didn't fit the way that I wanted to. So I've not worn it yet. It might be something I just gift. And then the North Shore hat, which I made for my mom, which I think was a two-part issue. One of the part of the issue is that I should not have used a superwash yarn. This is not the kind of hat that like, it's just too much like flappiness on the top that just like looks strange. She wears it. She doesn't care. I didn't like it though. And that combo, but also just like, I think that I don't like the shaping. Like I like the Manhattan hat, which is similar shaping, but like the 2x2 rib is just gives it a different ease. It's like it's just a different look, enough so that I wouldn't knit that one again. Okay, that's a pattern by Ozetta that I test knit earlier in the year. But the only sweater I would put marginally in here is my sea glass sweater. And not because I don't like my sea glass sweater. I do. I like it. But because of the way a woven ends, which gives me that sort of like thicker and like lighter panel down the back and the sides not so much. The back is what kind of bothers me, but also there's no short row shaping. And so like, it just, I feel like I mess with it the most when I'm wearing it, but it is really pretty. So like 50-50 on that one. Okay. So this one is my most enjoyable / the smoothest sailing. This is the thing that just like, I didn't expect to be so easy and good, was the checker plate sweater. This is on my list to make again because I freaking loved it. I loved it. I loved everything about it. I loved making it. I loved the pictures in it. I just loved it. This is a reminder to myself, is like, I meant to put that in my Witchfire order and I totally did not. So I need to find yarn to make that because I loved it and want to have one. My flew off the needles being like this is my fastest knit in a couple of categories. Okay. My Ray sweater was my fastest pullover. By yardage too, like definitely the fastest thing I knit this year. Just it flew. I wanted to get it done, and it was a quite enjoyable knit for the most part. I do think that yarn is not the absolute most enjoyable to knit with, just because of the chainette like thing. Like sometimes I felt like the plies were like messing with my needles a little bit, but I was enamored with like the feel of knitting it because it was so soft and so buttery, and yeah, flew off the needles. The quickest like small thing, I did knit some socks very quickly, but that I think I was surprised by is my Nana the Duck. That took me like, the first one took me like less than a couple days, which is also why I thought I finished this one super fast. Did not. That's okay. And then my Grid Gambit was like the fastest Kal. I think I knit that in like 2 days, and like Kal or neckwear thing. And I really remember just enjoying that knit a ton. I thought it was really fun to see how the hand spun made all the different grids, and like it was just great time. So there you go for great time knits. The best new to me yarn. So I picked two. So the summer yarn I enjoyed the most overall. Knitting experience, having the object, the drape, the everything, is EKS linen sock. That's a little bit surprising to me. I didn't think it would like be so nice, but it was like, I think it's the merino linen blend. Like it has none of the harshness of any other kind of linen yarn. It's just super soft, super lovely. The 4-ply, like just everything about it, A+. We'll get more of it for sure. The best new to me, I talked about this earlier in the episode, like winter yarn, just like other wool yarn, is the woolen Cordell DK from Little Fiber Co. I hope other dyers start carrying something that's like this or similar. I know a lot of people do like a Falkland DK, but this Cordell DK, like the woolen spun, it was just like super plump, super lovely. I'm actually really excited. I did order some woolen fingering and woolen DK from Jess at Witchfire Fibers, so I want to knit with that and give you a heads up. But I really enjoyed knitting this. This is what I knit in my Scorn sweater. Now she has the DK merino, but I think I said this, the Cordell was like a little bit rounder, a little bit plumper, like not even plumper. I think I had more yardage, but like was just slightly better to knit with than the merino, which she doesn't carry anymore anyway. My favorite buddy knit, I had this one in last year also, and I always do lots of like fun buddy knits with my friends, but actually my favorite, like just for community and other things, was all of my flock knitting for the Tori Yu flock along. So it was really nice. I hosted that with Ariel and Emily this early summer, like May to August, and it was just like, it was a great meetup when we met up at flock. It's such a great picture of everybody. It was overall super fun, super lovely. And I knit two things during that, which was my Uptown Tee and my Queen's Cami, and I enjoyed both of those knits a lot. Actually, that's my secondly close contender was that silk and linen blend from Paisley Knits, which I have more of the same like base from Yarn Jam. I really enjoyed knitting with that too, but that knit is not quite as good. Like it's on the hand feel, maybe better drape wise, but not quite as good during the knitting process as the linen sock. Okay. The yarn project I love to show off the most. This is like the one, maybe it's like the proudest one this year, but like, it's just like, I feel like I did such a good job was my Alpine Bloom. I mean, it was a crazy thing to undertake 4 colorwork rows, but I love how it turned out. I think it's a stunner. It's just so good. My emotional support blanket garment, and this is the thing, this is why it's my most worn garment this year. I mean, it is the most worn this year, is my Northwoods V-neck. I put it on, I put it on the other day. I put it on all the time because it's no fuss. It's so cute. I love the color. I love the neckline. I love the feel, everything. It's like a hug. It's my hug sweater. Okay. My most chic vibes. I've got 2 actually. I think t-shirt, I put the Flower Child, which is that one that has like the lace yoke from Woolen Pine Designs that I knit earlier this year, because I just feel very like feminine and cute in it. Now I think the Amaretta is like close up there. That's the most flattering, but I think there's like something about that one that just like makes me feel like it's just like so cute. Okay. And then the other one is my Ray sweater, and that's the one from Woolfolk that it was my quickest knit, and it's just like, it's so plain, but it's so classic, and the color and everything. So I feel like when I put that sweater on, I feel really put together, and I get a lot of compliments on it. My scratchiest knit, this is a new category for this year, just because I thought you should know. I have been knitting with a lot of non-superwash yarns and like a lot of like woolen spun type yarns, and that they just tend to be a little bit scratchier on your skin. My scratchiest knit is my Book Club cardigan, and that's using Wool Dreamers Mota, and that yarn is a woolen spun, and it's merino, but it's just scratchy, and I think it just needs to be worn a little bit more, and it'll feel like more soft on the inside, but it is what it is. Okay, my best memories knit. And I don't have like a softest knit because quite frankly, all the rest of them are just like equally as delicious, but though I will say the Ray sweater is my softest knit, like by far, hands down. Okay, my best memories sweater And this year, I'm going to give it to my fluff ball raglan, which I knit nearly all of at Knit Weekend. I think everything but the sleeves pretty much. I finished like a lot of the, like I had done just the neckline. So I finished like all of the yoke and a lot of the body at Knit Weekend. That was our fall Knit Weekend. And it was just like such a great time with friends. So that's really all that I worked on when I was there. So that's what's getting the best memories. Although my book snake is up there on like just having the memories attached to it from all of the fun books I read this year. My most fiddly knit is a two-part here. So my Alpine Bloom, because let's be real, those 4 colorwork rows were hard and very fiddly. Like I had 2 rings on my fingers. Like it was a lot of things to figure out to do that well. The other one is my Ninja Turtles blanket, which I don't know if you remember. I made this Ninja Turtles blanket this year for one of my dear friends, his second kid, and I've made it before, and I already knew going in it was going to be awful. There's like some rows where just had 30 colors attached to it, and it was just, I forgot that I even did that this year, honestly. It was a lot. Very fiddly. Worth it in the end, but like, I'm never doing it again. I'm saying this, okay? My love to hate it knit this year is Henry the orangutan, mostly because it was fine to knit and it was fine to give, and he looks like the picture, but dude, he's ugly. When I brought it to Charlotte, we just like were joking about how ugly this thing is, but that's the one that her husband wanted to have out of the whole book of cute characters. He picked the orangutan, so there he is. My hate to love it this year is my Dolan coat. And that, I don't know if you guys remember, was like a bulky boucle knit that I test knit for Wolf, or I think it was a Taylor Ann knits. But it was for Woolfolk, and they gifted me the yarn. And I think that any bulky boucle is going to be like this. It just like was a pretty not fun knitting experience, because there was just like the boucle is just like, it's like you're fighting it the whole time. And like, that's all boucle yarn. Like this is not specific to this one, but a bulky especially. But I love, and I finished that like in the spring. So then it just sat on the shelf for like 8 months. As soon as it got kind of cold, dude, I throw this one on in the house pretty frequently. I'm like, I mean, wearing sweaters and sweatshirts a lot, but like I have found myself throwing it on over top other things. Often enough that I think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of it. To hate that, because it's also like open, and like I'm like, how am I gonna wear this house coat? I wear it as a house coat, and it's great for that. My most recommended pattern, and I've got a 2-part here because I'm like, this is the year of the Ray sweater. Like the Ray sweater's winning all the awards, everybody. But the Ray sweater really I think is like a super classic. She has some thoughtful elements in how she created like the increases in the neck that look really nice. The raglan looks nice, like the fit, the feel, the everything about it is gorgeous. And I think that you would get a lot of compliments if you made this also. My other one, different fit, different vibe, is the Scorn sweater, which is not out yet. So I think it comes out on the 12th. This is from Claire Jackson though, but this is the contiguous design and has kind of a small shoulder, saddle shoulder type, thing that's built in the contiguous, but amazing for stripes, amazing for fade. She has tons of details in doing bust shaping, both kinds of bust darts, doing some waist shaping, just really getting it to customize to fit you well. And she has a lot of information in both a fade, stripe, or solids. And I think that is like, it's just great. Like you're getting like a ton of pattern in one. And I love wearing mine. I wear it quite often. So Scorn sweater. It's another one that I have on my list. Like I've bought more sweater quantities for that specific sweater because I want to have more. My most recommended yarn. I had 2 most recommended yarns, one for non-superwash and one for superwash. So my most recommended non-superwash yarn actually is not the Corriedale, because I think that's like a little bit limiting. Like if you can get that, do it. Get the woolen Corriedale from Little Fiber Co. or something similar from other dyers. But I really like that specific base. Okay, the one that I think is more available is Ulysse. I think Ulysse, maybe this is the first time I used it. I think this is the first time I used it, but like it is a powerhouse yarn. You can knit fingering weight in it, sport weight. You can knit it up as a DK. There's tons of colors. It comes in a great amount of yardage. It's not too expensive. So it's an amazing bang for your buck. If you've not dipped your toes into non-superwash and you're not sure about it, I say try Ulysse. It's maybe not the absolute softest yarn you've ever felt, but once you wash it and you wear it a little bit, it softens up and it blooms beautifully. And it's it's a yarn you should definitely try. From Durham Natura. Okay, in case you don't know, you can get it at a bunch of places in the US. I think it's a French company, but you can get it here. Okay. My most recommended superwash yarn is actually something that maybe would surprise you, but it's the one that I made my my Amaretta out of, and it's ZZ Textiles Silk Sock. Now I put this one in here because I think there's a lot of dyers and like even ones you can get at like yarn stores that have this 80/20 superwash silk base. And I just think that you should try it if you haven't tried it before. It was a really fun summer base. It's really, really soft. It's got that like little bit of shine. So like kind of makes your project feel a little bit extra special. And the silk is like nice and breathable. I had a great time using it. I just, the like end product was really like nice. My least recommended yarn, I only have one, like doesn't matter what kind, is I have two actually on here, and these are both discontinued yarns. So like this is maybe a cop out, but like I couldn't think of other yarns I was just like, you know, I didn't want to knit with. But Baroka Fuji, which is what I made my Karina top out of, I hated knitting with it. Like I felt like I was really annoyed a lot by like I kept getting stuck on the strands and whatever, and I just like it was got a really strange feel. I love the garment, so it kind of like, it's weird to put it on this list, but I didn't enjoy the knitting process. So I wouldn't probably like pay attention, and I wouldn't pick another yarn with a similar composition. Like I didn't like it. And the other one is from my No Sweatshirt, which is that string NYC Oasis yarn, which is like the linen, cotton, tons of things. Like, I mean, just be careful of the summer blends you pick. Like sometimes they don't soften like you think. And like, I think that one will wear okay, and it will like probably soften over wear and like washing a little more often. I wore it a lot this year still. Like it's actually got a nice cool feel, but like, dude, it was awful to knit with, like hard on my hands, didn't block out as nicely as I thought it would be. Just kind of a disappointing yarn. Most improved after blocking though are my Karina tee, because actually I'm sure I showed you this picture, but like I have a pre-blocking and then a blocked photo, and it really grew with the drape. It just got like extra beautiful for that one. And then my Salty Air tee, and that's because I think like more so even than like the Flower Child or any of my color work ones, like the neckline really looked like much improved post blocking than it was pre-blocking. And those are my superlatives for this year. Those are just like some fun things that I wanted to like point out to you about like stuff I liked, both for fit, feel, knitting, enjoy, patterns, whatever. Without like making, I guess these are more of the betters, less of the like least favorite, did not like pattern, you know, like there's definitely some things I was kind of disappointed in, but like none of my sweaters really like hit the, oh my gosh, I can't believe I knit this kind of thing this year, which is good because that means I'm getting better at picking patterns I'll like. Pattern and yarn combos, that's a big part of it. And also just like things that make sense in my wardrobe, not just like the shiny object things. I think that's one of the things I'm gonna like, is kind of what my focus for also picking my Make 9 projects this year is like using yarn that I had already either had ideas for or like I got quantities for without any thought, which I did more so pre the podcast and also pre like buying some hand dyed yarns, because I just feel like that's, I can't live that way. I can't just like buy a bunch of hand dyed yarn with no plans. Most of the things I bring in have a plan attached to it, but making those plans come true. Okay. But also doing the Make 9 for like really thinking about the things that like I would wear or grab in my closet. So like either they're a whole or they're something that's like, I already wear a lot of something similar, so I know I'll wear it when I add it. So those are things that are happening over here. I can't wait to share stats with you next week, and my flat lay and a new and improved background here. So it's a weird week to have like just blanks, but that's how we are. That's where we are right now. So I know this is a super long episode. Thank you for sticking with me if you stuck through to the end. I would love to know what you got done during this episode. Did you get a ton of stuff done? What are your chores or other things that you are working on? And now that I've shared goals with you, did that strike anything for you? Do you have superlatives you want to share with me? If you have any that you want to, I can add a couple next week when I do stats. If you like, there are things you didn't cover that you like really want to know, like, I don't know what, what questions would come about. And do you have, any goals did I inspire you to make any goals? Like I kept them pretty, I'm not going to keep them super complicated this year. I just kind of want to get through some stuff and just like have a year. Oh, actually, the last goal I totally forgot to put on here, and I'm going to add to the list, is that I would like to steek a project this year. I already have the project picked out. It's on my Make 9, and so it'll get done, hopefully. Let me know if there's anything else that inspired you and what you're working on. Don't forget to move your body, stretch, take care of yourself, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!